Hi guys, so in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make a Skyrim pendant like this one here. And this entire pendant is really just based on carving out the shape. So the first thing you want to do is take silver clay and you want to roll it out on the thickest setting on your pastel machine, or to about, I'd say 2 or 3 millimeters if you don't have a pastel machine. And you want to make enough clay that you can fold it over on itself 2 to 3 times. And the easiest way to start this is just to take the end of your clay and just roughly sketch out the shape that you're going to carve out. Okay, so once you have the rough shape carved out, all you want to do is just cut your clay a little bit above that. And you're going to start your sculpting on this piece. So to do that, all you're going to be doing is pressing down the areas in here outside of your design, so that the actual design that you're looking at is going to be relief off your surface. You can either do so on just this piece alone, or you can layer it with the rest of your clay, and this actually might be easier. So if you just take your other sheet of clay and you just lay at the bottom here, and you don't want to just press the clay down because then you might catch some air bubbles underneath. So what you want to do is just gently roll it, and as you're pressing it down, just layer it over until it's flush with the rest of your clay. And then you just want to repeat that for the last piece. Okay, so now that you have your clay layered, all you need to do is just proceed on to the sculpting. This is the most time-consuming part and it will take a little bit of practice. But what I always do is I have this kind of pointed tool, and I just begin by pressing down the areas outside of my design, and you just want to go around the entire outline first. Now you'll notice that as you're sculpting this, you get these kinds of bumps of clay over here. So in order to make your sculpture easier, what you want to do is just take a needle or any kind of a sharp tool. So I have this thicker needle here, and you just want to pick at the clay here, basically to remove it. And don't worry about it looking kind of ugly right now, because you're just going to smooth this out whenever you're done. So once you get all the clay off, you just want to take a small bowl tool, and you just want to smooth this out for now, just to see if you're satisfied with how much clay you have removed. And if you are, and you like the way this the two levels between the sculpture and this part here look, then you can just proceed on to sculpting. And you want to go about it by pressing down some of the areas here, and then removing a little bit of the clay here at a time until you get the entire sculpture done. Okay, so when you get to this part where you have all the inside picked out and you just want to do the edges, then the easiest thing for you to do is just to mark out your lines, and then just press your tool against that and kind of pull the clay away as you're pressing down. Now you want to make sure that you do the outside parts at the very last point, because if you were to do the outside first and the inside second, what could happen is that when you make a boundary for your sculpture and then inside while you're picking out the clay, it could push it outwards, so then your entire sculpture could get a little bit misshaped. So you just want to leave the edges to the very last point. And then once you have this done, then you just want to go ahead and start just polishing off the details. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you're doing that is to make sure that the edges of the raised surfaces aren't sharp, but you just want to curl them in a little bit. So the easiest way to do that is just to go across the surface and just kind of flatten down any rough parts. And you can use your ball tools for that as well. You just want to smooth out the corners as much as you can. And then you just want to do the same thing for all the inside and try to smooth out the surface here as much as you can. Okay, so once you have the entire dragon sculpted out, you just want to add the details that are in the body. And so how I do that is I just gently press my tool to make small indentations where Okay, so for the next step, what you're going to need is a brush. So a fluffy brush like this, anything you don't really mind getting black chalk pastel on is okay. And you're going to need the black chalk pastels as well. So I just use these here, and what you want to do is you just want to get your pastels and your brush. And you're just going to cover the entire pendant with the black, and you want to make sure that you get the black especially into the indentations that you have carved away. Okay, now the next thing you're going to need is a couple of Q-tips, and you're going to need some rubbing alcohol. And you just want to dip your Q-tip in the rubbing alcohol and take away any excess. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to run this over the surface of the parts that are relief, making sure that you avoid any of the gaps, because that's where you want the chalk pastel to stay. So you're just going to clean away any of the black off of your sculpture. And what I'm using is I have this end dipped in rubbing alcohol and this end dry, and all I'm doing is just rubbing over the alcohol and then taking away any of the chalk pastels with the dry end. So you just want to keep going until you get all the chalk pastel off the surface. Okay, so this is what your charm should look like once you have the surface all cleaned away. And I just cleaned off the edges here for the next step to for the clay to stick onto it. So then with the clay that you cut away, all you want to do is roll it out on a setting that will mean that it's the same thickness as the actual relief part. And then you just want to cut it into strips that you're going to lay on the edges of your charm. What we're going to do is just stick a head pin through. So just find the center of your charm. And then once the head pin is in, all I do is just take it out and put a little bit of Fimo Deco Gel on it. And then just put the eye pin back in. And this will just help the eye pin stay in place. So that's it. That's the Skyrim Dragon charm finished. So I hope you liked the tutorial, and if you do make these, I'd love to see what you make. So please leave a video response or a link to any pictures. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!